Meeting for Monday, April 14, 2025. I am Ward 1 Councilor Bernie Schultz, and I'll be hosting the meeting. Tonight, I've invited Department of Public Works Assistant City Engineer Ryan Colleen, who's standing in for Commissioner Erickson, who was at the Rotary Club Awards ceremony tonight, which came up after I had invited him. So Ryan is going to ably fill in for Nick. And we also have the Human Rights Commission here, two co-chairs. We have David Roth and Cheryl McGee Stewart here to present as well and answer any questions. So looking forward to all that information that they're going to be able to impart on us. So let's get started. We're going to start with City Engineer.
I'm going to move it over to David now because my computer just started a refresh over here, so I'm going to have you go. I apologize.
Okay, no, that's fine.
All right, we'll start with David then.
Okay, sorry I can't help you with your potholes. That's his job. I'm Dave Roth. I'm the co-vice chair of the Human Rights Commission along with Cheryl here. And just to give you a little idea of what the Human Rights Commission is, this is the first of our rejuvenated, restarted HRC on the road. We want to go to ward meetings. We want to go out and meet people so you know that we're available to you. So first of all, and Miles has the sheets he can give you at the end, we meet every single month of every year, second Tuesday of the month over in City Hall on the third floor, and we always have an open section at the beginning of each meeting. So if you have any concerns at all that might be related to human rights, could be housing, could be ageism, could be religious issues, anything that could be related to something you feel you're not being treated well by a landlord, by a boss, by the city, by the state, etc. We're here to kind of be a liaison to the mayor's office, to the state offices, such as offices of discrimination and so on and so forth, to help you be heard. As an example, the type of things we help with in the past, we helped a veteran who was kicked off of the MART. They gave him a lifetime ban, which we did research, and there's no such thing as a lifetime ban. So we got that corrected so that he could get back to getting transported to his doctor's appointments and places he needed to go. Those are the types of things the Human Rights Commission can do. Also, I want to make it clear that we are pretty lucky in the city of Fitchburg. Two reasons. One is we have Miles as our liaison to the mayor's office. He says all of our meetings, helps us out, writes up the things we need. But also, there are actually only two Human Rights Commissions in all of central Massachusetts, Fitchburg and Worcester, where people have a voice and can come every month and state their concerns so you're not feeling alone as an island. We then bring it to all the commissioners. The way it works, we're volunteers, both Cheryl and I, and we come from a diverse background. We have 9 commissioners and 2 associate commissioners. One of our commissioners, Mike Baltier, just walked in. Wave, Mike. Okay, you did your job. Good job. So we all come from different backgrounds, whether it's ethnic, religious, social, economic, and so on, and different interests that we can help people with. Myself and Cheryl will fill you in on what she does. I'm involved in things such as ending domestic violence, sexual assault, dating abuse with my work from Rape Crisis. I also do youth leadership through my chairmanship of Warmer Winters, a local nonprofit, and also work as the vice chair of Veteran Family Connections, a Twin City nonprofit that helps veteran families. So those are the backgrounds of things I come to the Human Rights Commission with. And Cheryl, why don't you tell them what you come to the HRC
I've had
with?
a daycare, family daycare for 40 years, and we're going to be doing a series on bully beans. It's about bullying in the schools and teaching children how to band together and stand up to a bully. And we're looking forward to that event. We're just looking for a venue for it right now, and we should be having that maybe in June, the end of June, thinking that. So, yeah.
And we'll put that out. There are 9, as I said, 9 commissioners. If you know of any young leaders, could be any of you, I'm not sure, but high school and college students, we have 2 openings for associate members. That helps them learn about the city, becoming leaders, how to make a difference in their community. In fact, one of our newest commissioners, Marianne Ashraf, was an associate member, but she got too old, so she's now an official commissioner of the Human Rights Commission. So it's a way to stay involved, get involved, help people, again, be a liaison to different things. We have lots of different areas that we can help with. We can point people to offices in Boston as an example to help with disabilities or discrimination or, sexual assault or housing issues. That's the beauty. And because we have Miles of the mayor's office, if there's something the city can help with, he's always there to take notes and to help. So don't be afraid to come to us. Cheryl, do you want to go over what some of our purposes and responsibilities are?
Sure. The Human Rights Commission works to protect and preserve the constitutional, civil, and human rights of the people of the city of Fitchburg. Our commission's objectives are to eliminate unlawful discrimination, provide education about human rights issues, like our bully beans, and the city to collaborate with diverse individuals and groups in order to promote tolerance and mutual respect.
That's a really important thing.
Yeah.
So as an example, as a group, we all went to the iftar dinner at the end of Ramadan for the mosque here in Fitchburg. It was really a great educational event for us, but also for the people of the mosque to see that the city of Fitchburg is supportive and cares, and we all help each other. So if you know of any events that are related to rights of people, we're always open to going, to supporting, to promoting. We've done Peace Poll events with the Peace Poll that goes to the schools and so on. That's what we're here for. But most importantly, second Tuesday of the month, if you have any concerns, please come to our open forum. That's what it's all about, is making your voice heard.
We're on the third floor conference room at 5:30, the second Tuesday of every month.
Any questions from anybody? Great. Yes, miss.
Connect up with the students at the university.
Yes, in fact, Mary Ann, our newest commissioner, former associate commissioner, is a student at the university.
She started with us when she was, it was in high school, right?
High school, yes. So both the
All
high
through
school
college, she
and
just
the...
graduated nursing school, and she's going to be a doctor.
Right.
We recently met a few students who have come together to try to turn Fitchburg State into a sanctuary university.
Well, we'd be happy as an example. We're always looking for speakers at our monthly meetings.
Yeah.
And that would be something where Miles can set up so they could make a presentation because it is a human right. So we can get that information out to other people. Yes, Miles?
Is there a way I can connect with the Human Rights Commission somehow? Either
Oh, my
email
goodness, yeah.
Oh, what a great question,
You can
Miles.
contact us at humanrightscom@fitchburg.gov.
PittsburghMA.gov.
Excuse me, fitchburgma.gov, or 978-829-1801.
Easiest thing is go on the City of Fitchburg website. That's where we post our monthly meetings. We post who's going to be our speaker. We've had speakers from the school system. We recently had a speaker from the senior center, from the
Parks Department.
community engagement department of the Fitchburg Police, which was really
Oh,
interesting about some of the outreach things they do to help youth and others in the city. So,
Fire department.
and we'd love to hear from the group you're talking about at the university. It's all about spreading and bringing people together. Fitchburg should be all of us together, not this group, that group, the university, the city, et cetera. And that's why we exist. That's why we've been volunteering. Cheryl told me she's been volunteering for the commission since 2012.
14.
I thought you said 12 a minute ago.
14.
Okay, 14. Maybe it was me that started 2012.
Yeah, you were before me.
Okay, but we'd love to have people involved and help each other, and we do appreciate that Bernie invited us to this meeting, and we are hoping to, when groups of other wards in Fitchburg have meetings, to also let people know we're here and are there to help. So just go to the website. If you have a concern of any kind, bring it up to us. Either come to our meeting or do it by email or by phone, and we'll be happy to help you. Mike, did you have anything you want to say as a commissioner?
No, it's my second time on the commission, but first time with Ward 1 and Councilor Schultz.
Yeah, we go way back. David, I advertised your appearance as on the road, so I thought you were going to talk a little bit about your on the road program. Is this?
Okay, we will. Well, we did this a number of years ago, but we wanted people to know that the Human Rights Commission exists. So on the road means coming to ward meetings. This is a Ward 1 meeting. So we're hoping to go through 2 through 6 also and maybe also do a session, say, at the senior center. Maybe we do one at the university. If there's a group that will invite us, we'll go to the university and talk about the Human Rights Commission in Fitchburg, because it's for any resident, any people involved in Fitchburg. You don't have to be a resident or a citizen of Fitchburg. You just have to be a Fitchburg person. So thank you for
It's a place you'll have a voice.
Yeah, we want to reach out to you so that hopefully you'll also come to us.
Yes.
That's why we're on the road. Does that answer that?
I guess that answers that. We have a diverse population of
We
Fitchburg.
do. And we're not necessarily as diverse sitting at this table, but we have
We have a diverse commission.
we have a diverse commission from
Yes.
all different backgrounds, and that's what we're looking for, so we can support each
There
other.
are 9 of us.
Yeah. Maybe you could describe some of the members
Sure.
on the commission, maybe that people...
Okay, well, as an example, we have Hafsa Afsfa and Maryam Ashraf, both from the mosque. Maryam, who was a junior member, and now she's a full commissioner. Mike Baltier right there. We have David DeJesus. Krista Ford Rhodes, who works, I know, with the Minority Coalition, a number of other areas. Cheryl, who works with not just her daycare, but you work with the PAWS program. Therapause. Barbara Nealon, who is with Haywood Hospital, but also works with suicide prevention.
Who is our chair?
And she is our chair. She's not feeling well tonight. Miles from the mayor's office, and myself. So there are lots of different backgrounds, so that we can hopefully come from different perspectives and help make Fitchburg even a better city and better for everybody who's here.
Does anybody else have questions? We had a couple new arrivals. Any questions for the Human Rights Commissioners?
Well, if you don't have anything right now.
We have two assistant chairs here, so... they're
Second
all-
Tuesday of every month, feel free to come and state any concerns that you have. And we'll connect you with
Miles
people
will
who
pass
can
these
help.
out, and it's got the number on it if anybody,
Has the number, the email, and the place of our meetings.
yes.
Miles has got some sheets there. I'm sure they're available for you if anybody wants to take one home.
Thank you, folks. We just basically came here tonight on the road, so you know we're here.
It's our first on
So
the
you can
road.
come to us.
And we look forward to seeing you in other locations.
We will. Thank you.
Sure that'll go well. Brian, how are we doing with the computer? We set to go?
Yeah, I think I'm ready to give this another try. Thank you, David, and thank you, Cheryl.
So we got the DPW represented by Assistant City Engineer Ryan Colleen, and he's going to talk about the current and upcoming infrastructure in the city. And he'll talk a lot about Ward 1, as he's told me, but he'll have other information for you as well. Go ahead, Brian. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you, Bernie. Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Killeen. I work for the DPW, and I'm the Assistant City Engineer. So tonight, I'm just here to talk about what we have going on throughout the city for paving, and particularly with some of the projects that will be going on within Ward 1. I do apologize. I prepared this presentation to be directed at specifically Ward 1 residents, but I do have some information that I think everybody here will appreciate. So let's get started. So, as most of you are probably already familiar with, most of our funding comes from Chapter 90. The city of Fitchburg gets about $1.25 million. That was recently just increased, so we're going to be getting closer to $1.8 million now. So that's a much-needed, overdue increase that the city is going to make sure we put our dollars to good use. And tonight I'm going to talk about our paving list for 2025. The other source that we have is local budget appropriations. One of those appropriations that we received was for the flooding that occurred in 2023 in Ward 1. So we have some funding that we received as a result of that damage from the flooding, and we will be performing some of our paving this summer in Ward 1.
What
So I'll be
was that? That was
talking about that.
1.3 million, Ryan, that we got from the state?
I'll have to get back to you on that. I don't know if it was 1.3 million for the flood damage itself.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yes, I'll have to get you an answer for that. Okay. And then we also get our funding through grants. So Mass DOT currently is performing what is the municipal paving program over on Route 2A. So that's where they're paving River Street from the roundabout at the bottom of Daniel Street at Kimball Street all the way towards Westminster Street, and that's a continuation of last year's project, which was from Newark Way over by the old Grief plant, heading in town eastward from there. So that's part of Princeton Road that they paved. Westminster Street to the British American Club is where they stopped before the winter, and they resumed on the opposite side of the Mass DOT bridge, which was right in front of mill number 3. So they're out there as we speak right now, as many of you know, and have probably already driven through there and been detoured through there. They'll be paving next week after they get all the rest of the structures adjusted. Right now they're having all of their castings adjusted, or I should say they will be once they complete the final section between the 50/50 diner and Dufour Auto, or the roundabout area. So, and the other final source of paving funding that I want to discuss comes from our utility work. So, for example, the water department is upgrading the water main on Main Street. So, to round out that project, we're going to be paving curb to curb throughout Main Street, because as many of you know, it's going to be the last project that we need to fulfill on Main Street before we can pave. So to finalize that water main upgrade, we will be paving on Main Street. It's probably not going to happen in 2025, but if you want to reach out to the engineering office, I can send you a detailed plan of all the different paving upgrades that will be occurring over the next 3 years to round out all of our sewer separation projects, water main upgrades, and bridge replacements that are going to be occurring downtown. So to cap all those projects off, we will be paving many of the downtown streets, as that's going to be the final upgrades that need to occur downtown. And that's been the reason that Main Street has had to forego paving for so many years, is because of all the utility upgrades that we've needed to complete down here. So moving on here. So to select our paving candidates, we're looking at a lot of different factors. And the main one that we're looking into is, among other things, it's called a PCI. It's a pavement condition index, but realistically, you don't really need to know what that is. That's just a fancy word for the condition of the road. So it's a way that we rate and index all of the conditions of the street so that we can go in and determine when it's worth trying to rehabilitate a street or just put a little bit of money into a preservation such as a crack seal. So if you guys live in Ward 1, you may have seen they did a crack seal on Pine Street. That's a street that we won't be able to pave in the next 5 years, so we elected to put a little bit of money into sealing the cracks to keep the ice and water out of it. So that's just a very affordable way that you can put a little bit of money into a street and get a little bit more life out of it. The utility needs are, of course, one of the factors that we take into our selection process. Any of the upcoming projects that we're aware of. Developments, of course, we don't want to put down a new roadway if we know that there's going to be utility needs, such as what we had over on 10 Main Street with the Harper Furniture Building. So now that that's been up, there's actually a grant for a improvement at Morin Square. So right now that is in the design phase. So that's probably going to happen in, I would say, 2027. And I don't know if you guys are able to see this, but I'm just going to give you guys a list of our 2025 paving candidates. So I'm going to start with the ones that we're currently working on, which is Route 31 and 2A, Clarendon Street, which we're currently working on. We are right now repairing the sidewalks. Electric Ave, that's going to be the next stop after Clarendon Street. We're going to head over to Electric Ave. Gas company just finished there in the fall, so we're going to pave Electric Ave from the roundabout all the way to where they recently just stopped paving for the entrance to Coggeshall Park. So they have new pavement out there from South Street to Coggeshall Park. That's where we're going to end our paving for Electric Ave. Airport Road, the water department is currently completing some upgrades out there, so as soon as they complete, we should be able to get out to Airport Road probably by the end of May. And if I neglected to mention this already, our paving contractor is Lazaro Paving, as many of you probably already know from seeing them out there.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are they the only pavers that you employ?
What's the question?
Are they the only pavers that you employ to do it?
Well, with our Chapter 90 contract, that is correct, yes. They were awarded the Chapter 90 contract because they were the lowest bidder. There were 4 pre-qualified Chapter 90 contractors that bid on the Clarendon Street project and a various streets paving contract. So Lazaro Paving Corp. Won the bid because they were the lowest bidder. And rest assured, anyone that's a low bidder still has to be on a pre-qualified Mass DOT list of contractors, so that it's not just anybody that can bid on a project like this.
Why do you only have one when there's so much work that needs to be done? You could have multiple pavers working simultaneously.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things that we've been able to do when construction season's going well is when the gas company completes a project, they work with PJ Albert to help restore some of their trenches. They don't do full curb-to-curb paving, but what they will do is they'll do a single mill pave. So, for example, on Wallace Street from River Street to cutting off River Street around the roundabout over to along Wallace Street. That's what they did over there. And they did a similar project on Electric Ave and Franklin Road in front of Park Hill Plaza. After the gas company completed an upgrade there in 2023, PJ Albert came in and paved curb to curb up there. So there are instances where we have various companies in town. The company that works for the sewer separation company, Polito, is PJ Keating. We had them performing upgrades last fall to complete the sewer separation project. So while we are only working with one contractor for Chapter 90, with our various funding sources for paving, there are other paving companies out there getting paving done. And I understand it appears to be happening at a slow pace, but if you guys will also recognize that we did some paving off of Main Street, up on the hill there, right where they completed the sewer separation project. So we'll be finishing off the rest of that paving this summer. They're going to pave Bond Street. They're going to be paving View Street. And I'd be happy to send you guys the complete 2025 paving list. To continue on.
Ryan, I had a question that maybe you could explain to everybody about how Unitil sometimes contributes money to the paving project. I don't think people are aware of that.
So it works one of 2 ways. Our pavement restoration process requires a contribution anytime a utility contractor rips up our road, for lack of a better word. So when Unitil excavates a street and leaves us with a restoration, they're required to perform a permanent restoration, which has a cost value to that. So what we do is, if they do a temporary restoration, we can take the value of that restoration and apply it to another street. So there's instances where we've done that, such as what I was speaking about earlier, Electric Ave. That was paved by having contributions from Unitil, where they did temporary patching on other streets where we know there's going to be CSO work within the next 1 to 2 years. Streets where it doesn't really benefit us to do a permanent restoration, where we can say, okay, go out and speak with Unitil and say, we would like the following amount of money that would be going from this group of streets, and we're going to put it to this street. So that's what Bernie is referring to with paving contributions, and we do the same thing with the water division projects. So there was recently a water main installation on Westminster Hill Road, and all of the restorations up there we received contributions for paving. So we have a paving budget that does include contribution money from the various utility upgrades.
Is that yeah, I had it and I've lost it. Is that an agreement or a?
Yes, it's written into our restoration policy. So we have a restoration policy for any contractor that opens a street in the city of Fitchburg, which includes not only Unitil, the water department, or NUCO or anybody, but also private contractors like Tandem Construction are required to perform a restoration to a standard. So when it comes to utility groups like Unitil and the water department, we do get restorations from them. However, we have been moving towards just having the project include the paving, the final paving as part of the contract, because we find that it's a lot quicker and more streamlined of a process to just include the final paving as part of the project, as they did behind us on Boulder Drive. They did the water main upgrade, and when they were complete out there, their contractor, GEG, worked with PJ Keating to do the curb-to-curb restoration on Boulder Drive. So that's how they were able to get that paved last summer.
How do you decide which road gets done first? You have a man going around looking at each road, like, this one should be done, and then the committee decides?
Well, that's one way. So we rate all the streets. So we have a program that we can look up any street in the city and see what the score is now, see what it was 2 years ago, and it has images of the entire roadway. So we have a vehicle that's driven all the streets. It's called the Street Scan car. It drove the streets in the end of 2023. It has 360-degree imagery. So we have a file that has 360-degree imagery anywhere along the roadway in those 2 to 3 days that they drove through the city in 2023. And then we have a rated index database score of all the streets and segments in the city. So there's a model where you can use a budgeting tool to decide how you want to use your budgeting that'll select streets based on a certain criteria. However, I would say the biggest single factor that really drives what we choose for streets is actually what we were talking about earlier, which is just utility projects and when they're all complete in a given area, because you really have to make sure that the sewer is complete, the water is complete, the gas is complete. So most of these neighborhoods that are prime candidates for paving become so only after all those projects are done. Now another factor is whether or not it's an arterial or primary roadway. So of course that's why we're choosing a road like Electric Ave and or Airport Road, because those are major roads that people that come in and out of the city use. Everybody uses those roads. So we try to choose a variety of streets, as you guys will see when I show you the 2025 paving map. I hope I have it with me. When I show you guys the 2025 paving map, you're going to see that we choose a variety of streets, from local roads, arterial roads, and roads that are simply just in the right neighborhood because they fit the criteria for paving at that time, which is now 2025. So just to continue on, where I left off here was Pearl Street's going to be paved. We're going to try and pave that all the way from John Fitch Highway, starting at Coolidge Park, to Lunenburg, to White Street in Lunenburg. Klondike Ave is also up in that neighborhood off of Pearl Street. The gas company just completed all their work up there last year, so that's ready to be paved. It's in terrible condition. Klondike Ave is on the list to be paved this year. The next one in Ward 1, Fairbanks Street, coming from South Street down to Monroe Street. We're going to pave Fairbanks Street in its entirety. Monroe Street, which is right after Fairbanks Street, we're going to do a little bit of sightline improvement there because we have complaints from the bus drivers and motorists that it's hard to see around the corner coming out of coming out of Monroe Street up the hill onto Fairbanks Street. So the school department has agreed to do some clearing on the corner there to improve sightline visibility in conjunction with our paving there. So that whole area is going to get cleaned up quite a bit. And there's also a really messy sidewalk down on Monroe Street that we're going to try to repair and pave.
So Monroe Street's going to be widened.
Yeah, Monroe Street, it's a tight street. It's on the side of a steep hill, so we're going to do what we can with it, but we're going to have to look at repairing that sidewalk. It's a mess over there. And so, if I didn't mention it already, starting at Fairbanks Street, this is in Ward 1, and this is where we're putting some of our flood recovery assistance money in the following streets. So moving on, after Monroe Street, we have Birch Street, which is going to be paved in its entirety from Monroe to Albee. A short section of Haywood Street, that was a section that was severely damaged in the flooding in 2023. So it's a short section from Canton to Birch Street. And a very short section of Salem Street, which is in front of the St. Anthony School, from Birch to Haywood. The gas company, unfortunately, is coming through Salem Street, so we won't be able to pave too much of Salem Street because of that. So over in West Fitchburg, we've got Game On Way, we've got Victoria Lane and Roper Road. That's a neighborhood over there, so all of those streets will be milled and paved with 2 inches at the same time while Lazaro Paving is over there, because it makes sense to just do them all while we're there. All 3 of those streets are in poor condition, and the company that owns Game On Way paid to have part of Game On Way started back in 2022, I believe it was. So we need to complete what they had already started. Their agreement was to finish it, but the city will be going back there to complete Game On Way. And at the same time as Victoria Lane and Roper Road. We've also got we have a second paving contract, which was also coincidentally awarded to Lazaro Paving Corp. It's the asphalt and pothole repair contract, and what we're using that towards is Ashby West Road. There's a severely rutted out section in Ashby West, or on Ashby West, where we'll be putting that pothole and asphalt repair money towards, as well as Nichols Road, which is also in that category. Moving back to regular Chapter 90 funded streets, we have Beacon Street. We've received a lot of complaints about Beacon Street. It's been on the 5-year paving plan for, it feels like, almost 8 years now, and it's been pushed down the line for a number of different reasons. But it's finally on the docket to be paved this year. So Beacon Street and Winter Street, which is the next street over, the next street to the west on Summer Street.
Part of Winter Street was done in the last few years, right? So you're just doing part
Yeah, we're
of
doing
Winter Street.
from Summer to Lawrence. Perhaps you're referring to the section from Lawrence from Lawrence out to Patel. So this is funding. Depending on funding, we have proposed to pave Arnhow Farm Road leading to the high school. There's some repairs that need to be done to a retaining wall over there, so it's that one may or may not happen in 2025. You have Franklin Road from Depot to Shea Street. We'd love to get that paved. We're completing some sidewalks over there for a Chapter 90 grant for safe routes to school. So we're putting in sidewalks right now for the Rheingold Elementary School that start at Oak Hill Road and lead down towards Depot Street. And it's also going to include a RRFB flashing beacon across Depot Street so that the kids can get to the baseball field, Anson Field. We've been told that the kids love to cross there and that they need to be more safe there. So So there's going to be a RRFB on Depot Street as a part of the Franklin Road project.
Yeah, that'll be good, because they're going to reopen Anson Park. It's been closed actually for a couple of years now, so they're in the process of reopening it for the kids, little leaguers. Yeah, excellent.
And then to jump back over to what we were speaking about earlier, the CSO 10 sewer separation project off of West Main Street. We're going to be finishing all the paving up there. So we're going to be paving Crescent Heights, Print Street, School Street, Main Street from Caldwell Place to Ashburn and Hill Road. That section of Main Street's in really rough condition right now. Arlington Street from Prospect to Caldwell Street, Bond Street, Arlington to View, and View Street from Bond Street to the end, the upper end. And to answer your question, sir, I've got a slide here that refers to contractor selection. So we adhere to mass procurement law for construction and public works. We always go with the lowest responsible bidder. There was an instance where somebody was a low bidder and their references didn't pan out, so they couldn't have been selected. When we are bidding projects, if we do a project-specific contract, sometimes we can get better pricing. So in the instance of Clarendon Street, that's what we did there. And on-call contracts are really good for being able to do things on short notice and having the ability to fulfill a paving list, a robust paving list like we have in Fitchburg. So right now we have a hybrid of the two. Our Chapter 90 contract is for various streets, so it's kind of like an on-call contract, and it has a project-specific part of the contract that's for Clarendon Street. So right now it's a little bit of a hybrid.
What kind of warranties do we have that Lozano's work? I mean, is it 1 year, 2 years, 5 years on the road that they repairs?
You know, it's not so much a warranty, but it's how it's written into the bid for, I mean, the contract, as far as how the job is guaranteed. It's not so much a warranty. It just has to be. You know what? Let me get back to you, and I can answer that question. See if we have a warranty on the work. We've never had to.
The reason I ask that is because I've seen several complaints on Facebook and heard people complaining about Clarendon Street. There's already dips in it and some damage to it. And I know, I would assume that they are called back to repair that kind of work, and it doesn't fall in your lap to do it.
Well, I think what happened on Clarendon Street is a result of a lot of factors that may or may not be the result of Lazaro paving. So we paved pretty late in the year, and the temperatures were right on the edge of where paving should occur. So it's not really a situation where Lazaro would necessarily be to blame for the condition of the road. So right now, if you take a ride up Clarendon Street, the heaving that you would have observed back in February when the freeze thaw cycles were happening isn't present right now. And as we speak, as they continue to remove the curbing, we're exposing a lot of the base material. So we're having an opportunity to look at everything as the saw cut's being done along the side of the road. So we're able to have an opportunity to look at everything, and it's gonna be drying out over the next few weeks as everything's exposed and saw cut along the edge of the road. So if we come across unsuitable base material that shouldn't have been paved over, we can address that as needed in some patch paving if we really need to.
Now, who would do that? You, the city of Fitchburg?
That would be a discussion to have at that time if we had to go down that route. But if we were to discover that there's unsuitable base material underneath the paved roadway as we're saw cutting and removing curbing to be reset, then we would address that we will address that as needed. Earlier today, there was, we found somebody's sub pump that was discharging behind the sidewalk, which has been probably there for many, many years, and it looks like that's the reason why that section in front of their house was so rutted up. I mean, not rutted, but heaving so bad. That was one of the sections of roadway that I observed when the road was heaving throughout March and February, and other people drove through there and they observed the same thing. They said, you know.
Does anybody ever go out and assess these roads before they're going to be done to find out these things, to see what exactly needs to be done? I can't imagine I wouldn't go on a job without taking a look at it and making sure what I had to do because I had the proper materials and everything else. Does anybody assess the road before Lazaro comes in to pave it? I mean,
yeah, so we took core samples of the road just to see how thick it is and make sure that we have the right thickness to be able to do what we did, which was a full-depth reclamation where we reclaimed part of the road, and the reclaimed asphalt gets mixed into the base at a ratio of about 50-50. So we did a core sample to see how thick the pavement was. We did it in about 8 locations up and down the length of Clarendon Street so that we knew what we were working with for material before we went out there and paved. So the other thing that Clarendon Street's going to have benefiting it after it's completed is you have the rigidity of having multiple layers. So we're going to be adding 2 more layers with tack coat between them. So having multiple layers bonded to each other gives them a rigidity that you're not going to have with the single course pavement. It just doesn't hold up as well, and it's going to be more prone to that kind of heaving that you guys are referring to that you saw out there. So the 2 more courses that we're putting on Clarendon Street are going to make a big difference in the quality of it next winter.
if you take a road down, take it up completely, right down to the dirt, what's the thickness of the material you put back on it?
On Clarendon Street, it's going to be about 6 inches, about 5.5 to 6 inches. On a local roadway that doesn't see a lot of traffic, it might be more like 3.5 inches to 4 inches. Yep. We talked about this a little bit already, so we're in the process of paving Route 31 and 2A. That's a job that's funded by the state. The fact that they use Lazaro Paving is also a coincidence, but if anything, it's just a testament to their skill at bidding projects. I don't know what to say, but they win a lot of bids, and we're actually quite happy to work with them. So I haven't had any issues working with Lazaro. They usually do what we ask of them. So of course, on any of these projects, if anybody ever sees anything that they want to tell us about, that they feel like we should know about, we always want to hear everybody's comments. Yes?
A few of us are from Jeffrey Keating Road, which runs...
Bumpy Keating Road.
Okay.
It's a small road, 737 feet to be exact, that runs parallel to Electric Ave. First, I guess I want to thank DPW because we had a pretty massive hole with pavement flowing all over the place during the ice winter, and just during last week we saw some filler, so that's good. I'm hoping that this list that you have for 2025 is not written in stone. Yeah, it's written in pavement. Yeah, I mean, the road is in sorry shape, especially the top part, which is like on a hill. It looks like an ongoing earthquake. Not pleasant to walk on.
So Jeffrey Keating Road, I tell you what, so we have a candidates list on our 5-year paving plan. So what I'll do is make sure that Jeffrey Keating Road gets into the candidates for discussion column, which is a part of the 5-year paving plan. And I can tell you it's probably less than 10 streets on the streets for discussion, believe it or not. So Rinnick Road, I think, is one of them. Jeffrey Keating, so we'll add Jeffrey Keating to to that conversation. In fact, as you mentioned,
We got a guy from Seneca Street here, too.
Bernie asked me for William Street at one point, and that's on the list too.
But, you know, I've been up there for 30 years, and it's just increasingly, the street is, especially at the top of the street, but at the bottom as well.
So
There's some-
Seneca and Jeffrey Keating.
When's the last time you've been down Clinton Street?
Clinton Street.
It's off of Green.
Yeah, it's right, you know where the rec center is, if you go up the street, it's right there. You go up Congress, and it's
Starting
right
from
there.
the college, it's like a minefield going up that street.
Yeah, now, that's going to be, it's hard to say when we're getting up into that neighborhood. I would have to look at whether or not the sewer separation, I think the sewer separation already happened over there, but if I'm not mistaken, there is a sewer separation outfall at Moran Square that's being upgraded. So if that ties in up there, then that would be a street that they would pave following the sewer separation project. So that may fall into the 2028 paving candidate. So if any of you guys reach out to the engineering office, I'll send you a detailed map of all the downtown paving that's going to occur as a result of the sewer separation projects over the next, let's say, 3 years. And those are all funded by the ratepayers for the sewer department. So moving on, you guys all know about Route 31 and 2A. They're going to be doing some line painting over at the roundabout, so it'll make it a little bit easier to navigate the roundabout over at Daniel Street by Cumberland Farms there. They're also doing some line painting over at the intersection of Ashburnham Street and Westminster Street. So they're going to square up that intersection as well so that there's a little bit less confusion mostly for drivers from out of town. I think people from Fitchburg know how to drive through there pretty well, but sometimes people from out of town get a little confused there. We already talked about, so Ward 1 projects. Some of these areas we already talked about were the repairs to the areas impacted by the flooding in the July 2023 rain event that we had. Something that everyone's probably started to see out there that I think everyone should know about in Ward 1 is the Unitil gas work. So they're working over on Hazel Street and Rollstone Street currently. So they're going to be on Rollstone Street all summer long, and that's going to be pretty impactful because I know everybody's going to be trying to detour around the other projects. So just bear in mind that Rollstone Street gas work is starting, and that's going to be underway for most of the summer. And so that's for 2025. In 2026, in Ward 1, they're going to be doing a lot of work off of from Pine Street downhill towards Charles Street. Quite a bit of gas work down there. The Safe Routes to School project off of Rollstone Street has a lot of improvements to the end of Mount Elam Road by the cemetery. A lot of the middle school students cross Mount Elam Road, so the Safe Routes to School project's going to be redesigning a lot of the crosswalks through there to help improve the safety for the pedestrians trying to cross there. We've got a very minor grant that was applied for by Community Development for an all-way stop at the top of Laurel Street at Rollstone Street. So what that's going to entail is an actual all-way stop, which will be on Rollstone Street and on the existing, encompassing the existing stop, which is on Laurel Street. So it's now going to be an all-way stop if the grant is accepted.
It's interesting that the Charles Rollstone and
You mean Charles Rollstone
and the one coming up the hill. No,
Franklin.
Franklin Street.
Okay.
Franklin
Yeah,
Street.
I brought that to the table for discussion, and I believe the comment that we got from PD was something along the lines of having more stop signs doesn't always improve safety. So I think that was our takeaway there. We hadn't done enough. I mean,
Stop sign on Old Sloan Street coming up.
coming up the hill.
People coming down Rollstone Street, if anyone's coming up Franklin Street that has the right of way,
I see what-
they just turn left in front of them.
An intersection like that requires a real traffic study before just applying for the all-way stop grant.
Yeah.
I think there's too many roads converging there to do an all-way stop. But it did come into the topic of discussion. We thought about that one.
That and then the Rollstone, the Walton, Laurel, Charles.
Where the barriers are now.
Yeah,
That's,
that's actually next up. So
Yeah.
I was able to talk to the commissioner earlier today after speaking with Bernie, and we've had those temporary Jersey barriers out there long enough. So told the commissioner we should really get the streets guys out there this summer with their berm machine and just put some permanent bituminous berm in there and make it permanent because it seems to work. Everybody has been doing great with that intersection. I think it's been there since Nick Bossinetto was the commissioner.
Yeah.
So time to make that permanent. And the pavement preservation, we don't have our 2025 pavement preservation list out yet, but as I mentioned earlier, we did Pine Street through Ward 1 with some crack sealing. So this is going to be hard to read, but this is a map I made with the Ward 1 paving projects, and let me see if I can zoom in here at all. So what you're seeing to the right of the screen is the flood damage area, so paving from Fairbanks to Monroe to Salem to Birch, and as well as Haywood and Haywood Street.
Banks. It was below me where it was occurring.
Yeah, what street are you?
I'm a Fairbanks by the intersection up there.
All right. Yeah, we're looking at Fairbanks. There's a lot of the sidewalks are very inconsistent up there, so we're going to have to make a decision how to put back the sidewalks. There's a little bit of concrete, a little bit of asphalt, a little bit of granite curbing. So we're going to try to neaten it up and put something back that's a little more consistent. Most likely, we're going to tie it in with bituminous berm, and it's hard to say. We might take away some of the grass strip between the sidewalk and the berm, just because it's just so inconsistent. There's a little bit of everything out there.
Has been overgrown for a long time.
Yeah, where? Fairbanks?
Yeah.
All right. And then as you come down the hill, everything's a little bit more straightforward. I don't think there's anything too complicated about Beach Street, or Birch Street, I should say. Monroe Street, the sidewalks there are going to be a mess, so we're going to rebuild those.
I mean, I've heard, and of course, it's not Ward 1, but Rollstone and Causeway are in tough shape too, Ryan. Have you had any complaints about those two streets? Because I hear from people.
Of course. Yeah, no, Rollstone's on the 5-year paving plan, so.
Near Memorial, right?
So Rollstone and Causeway, that's part of it's currently under design. I think it's at about 75% by the state, so they're doing a safe routes to school improvement. So the state is funding an upgrade to the sidewalks all the way from the end of Mount Elam and Clifton Road out in front of Memorial School and down Causeway Street. They're going to be putting in what is called a shared use sidewalk that's wide enough for bikes and pedestrians. So an 8-foot wide sidewalk. And we've been in conversation with emergency response, fire, PD, to make sure that the amount of roadway that we're going to be eliminating for the sidewalk is still sufficient for them to get all their emergency access vehicles in case something happens at the school.
But that's not including the roads, the paving of the roads, right?
Yeah, no, it is.
Oh,
So
it
we're
is.
going to be paving.
We're gonna be paving those
We're going to
roads?
be paving Causeway and
And
Rollstone
Excellent.
afterwards. So
Excellent.
that's probably about 2028, closer to 2028. Now, I got this. This is on the edge of Ward 1, would be Electric Ave. We talked about that earlier. And Jeffrey Keating Road. We're gonna-
And Larry says Seneca Street. too.
So
Get that
with
going on.
Jeffrey Keating Road being a shorter road could fall into that. We have the asphalt and pothole repair contract. And right now, the only streets we have selected for it, I know there's many, but the only two that we have selected thus far are Ashby West and Nichols Road leading up towards the hospital. So a short segment like Jeffrey Keating could be a nice addition to that list. So.
And so could Seneca Street.
It's been bad with that last ice storm, and then the plow took out a hunk, not their fault, it's plowing, but it's just so bad right now, the top.
Larry can attest to Seneca Street, right?
All right.
He was commenting on that before we came in.
Yep, we got those both on here.
Any other questions for Ryan? David, did you have any questions? No? Where are you located in Fitchburg?
Ward 6.
Ward 6?
Yep. I'm off of Rollstone Road up there.
Question? Yes.
All right, nice.
Do we not, is there some, I don't know if it's a Pittsburgh thing or people don't mark rotaries anymore? So obviously if you live there and you know that it's putting in a rotary, you know it's a rotary. But there's no
Ryan was
sign.
talking about Daniel Street, how you are going to have some
Yeah, we're marking that we're doing some line painting improvements over there, some striping. However, you're referring to signage,
An
right?
actual sign that says rotary.
No, I don't disagree. I think having proper proper approved signage for the roundabouts definitely makes it easier for the motorist that's a little bit confused. Going into it, they can see the signage and know what lane to get into. I see those usually more on the multi-lane roundabouts, but yeah, we can look into getting those
I just think some
striped
people aren't
better.
from the area gets taken by surprise. And then,
Was there a roundabout you were talking in particular?
no, I just noticed that there's no signs. And yes, I live up near on Franklin Electric. So that is, but someone just went like straight across when I was coming home today from New Hampshire. And I'm like, okay, he did it. I'm thinking it's just somebody who's used to the rotary. I don't think they blew it. I think they blew it on purpose because they could make.
I think we had some signs there, and I think they got knocked over, didn't they, in the winter or something?
It just seemed like either some painting, a little rumble, something to say rotary ahead, slow your butt
I
down.
think we lost some signs up there, Ryan, at the time when you first put that road.
We do have an issue where, because I come down Rollstone Road from the Route 2 side,
Yes.
because we're on Tibbetts Circle.
Okay.
And the people on Electric almost never stop for the people coming up or down.
Right across.
Well,
If one car goes, 3 cars go.
So the good news is we had a conversation with community development last week, and they're working on a grant to improve that roundabout, because when it was first put in, there's crosswalks that go across from Cumberland Farms to the corner that don't really lead anywhere. So the intent is to complete the roundabout with better crosswalks that actually go all the way around it, that are functional. And then at that same time, with that grant money, we're going to put in more signage to address what you guys are discussing.
Great.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. Without the sign that say rotary ahead, go slow,
I agree with you. Yeah, I made a note about signage for the roundabout.
Because it's the locals, it's not the out-of-towners. The locals, that one goes, 8 go, while we're waiting on both ends.
I don't think you're clear with that sign.
get right. You need driver's ed once you know.
The 55 mile an hour speed limit on Electric Ave is a little bit rough.
It's kind of hard to go that fast.
Sorry, I did have 2 more too. So coming down what I used to think was Rollstone that I now know is Frankfurt. No.
Franklin. Franklin
Yes,
Street.
thank you. So I usually choose to go down all of Rollstone because I can't see when I come down.
Franklin, yeah.
Thank you. And is there a way to put a mirror up, like some they'll use for truck drivers and hairpin turns, so you could see if somebody's coming up?
So that was something that recently came to discussion with our former traffic division head of traffic, Sergeant Boudreau, and the Commissioner of Public Works, and there was concern over the safety and improper use of mirrors in some places. I think the big one that people were concerned about was over on 5th Mass Turnpike. So the consensus between the commissioner and Sergeant Boudreau at the time was that there really isn't any clear guidance on the use for traffic mirrors. So because there wasn't any clear best use practice for them, they decided it would just be best not to allow them in the city. So they had to take that one down. And currently our policy just requires that if somebody wants one, they can put one up for their own use off of a driveway. But the city has moved away from maintaining them in the street.
And 5th Mass Turnpike, and also on Westminster Hill Road and Ashburnham Street.
Yeah,
take
that
them
would
down.
be, so Westminster.
I think
Yeah,
the one-
Westminster
I think
Hill
the one
Road
at
on
Fifth Mass-
Ashburnham, yeah,
I think
that
the one
one-
at Fifth Mass
yeah.
Turnpike is still up there.
No,
It is?
they replaced it.
Did they replace it?
Yeah, I got damaged and they replaced it several months ago. If I'm right about this, and I think so, it was somebody in the public replaced it. Because it was gone for quite a while. Somebody
Yeah.
interviewed the
I
city.
think it could. It's a discussion that's worth having. I was surprised that they decided that they don't want to use them at all, but that was the reason, is because at the time, the Sergeant Boudreau just didn't feel that they were safe, and that there's instances where they can be improperly
Well, maybe
used and
maybe
cause-
we revisit it
cause
now. Sergeant
more issues
Boudreau
than not.
did retire.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. That's what I'm getting at. So.
Might be safe than sticking your nose in your car out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally like, and then because there's so much else going on, if you're looking over your shoulders to the right coming down there, all this stuff's happening
so
on your left.
I've avoided going up.
I actually had to do that today because the gas company was on Franklin Street, and I had to do the same thing, and I have to come all the way around onto Kimball Street and then come out. So yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's a terrible spot.
Thought might be to make Franklin Street one way going up only.
Yeah, I mean it should be. Realistically, no two streets should come together at that sharp of an angle and expect somebody to take a right or take a left onto it.
You had one more question?
Even though I like Main Street two-way, it became, I was going wrong. But anyways, the bridge down at 12 and Laurel, Main and Day.
Okay.
I didn't, is there a start date for when that's going to happen?
So unfortunately, because of the issue with Boulder Drive, we had a community kickoff meeting with the downtown business owners, and the company working on the bridge brought it to our attention that it was their intention to close Boulder Drive during bridge construction, and everybody was adamantly against that, so they had to return to the drawing board to
Because that was
come
going
up
to be
with
for
a
a
new
3-year
start date.
period.
So there's
3 years.
So that's I don't know. So we'll update everybody as soon as we hear more. But that's what happened with that.
Well, the other question,
Because they-
while on that subject, the bridge just above that, where it used to be the Chrysler dealership, it covers the Nashua River.
Yeah, okay.
Just above that. Now, that also was supposed to be done in 2 phases, one side at a time. Okay? Now, the bridge going from Water Street onto Main Street is now, as we understand, 2027. Is that going to affect that bridge also, or is that still in the plan?
No, you're talking about the bridge over to Laurel Street from Putnam, the Putnam Street bridge?
No, down right Water Street. Right on Water Street.
Water Street by the
That
market,
was
By
supposed to be
Market
done in 2 phases, one half at a
by
time.
Walnut Street.
They'll still do that in 2 phases.
Still going to be done in
Yeah.
time, or is it going to be tied in with the bridge?
I believe that one starts after the other bridge begins. I don't think if they're going to start simultaneously. I do not believe. But while we're talking about projects in that area, we had the pre-construction meeting with the company that's installing the third phase of the Twin City Rail Trail, which is the walking path that's going to go from First at Railroad over the MBTA railway or railroad and down to the commuter rail station. That's where the ending of the Twin City Rail Trail will be.
When is that going to start, Ryan? Did they give you any idea?
They are having some issues with the railroad as well, with something to do with flaggers with Keolis at the railroad. So we have not been out there since the pre-conference, and they haven't given us any updates about their start time. So as everybody may already know, the best place to look for any updates for construction is on the city's website or the Sentinel. We do weekly updates with the Sentinel and Enterprise, as well as with the mayor's social media accounts.
How many plans do you have for Water Street?
Yeah, so there are some streetscape projects in the works for Water Street. Right now, I believe I don't think it's on the table for at least the next couple of years, though. They're planning on doing some. So with Water Street, what's going to happen out there is it's going to be one of these community development projects where they upgrade the whole streetscape, do the sidewalks, and go top to bottom, kind of like one of these complete streets projects like they did over at the Upper Common when they did that a few years ago.
How are you going to invite people into the city, businesses?
Yeah,
They're about that road, they're going to turn around and go somewhere else.
I mean, maybe once the Complete Streets project is over, it'll look decent. But that's my understanding, is that community development wants to make a Complete Streets project out of the section of Water Street from the John Centrino Bridge down to Walnut Street.
It is eligible for funding because it did become part of the new urban renewal plan, the Water Street area. So hopefully, if grants kind of loosen up a little bit, maybe we'll be able to get some help.
We're going to put 2 years in this.
I know that's
You're ruining people's cars too, because the road is so bad.
Yeah, I've had residents say, I come into Water Street, I'm gonna bring my child to Fitchburg State, and that's where I get off the highway, and I come in and I look at Water Street, and I say, wow, it's yeah. I mean, is there any plans, Ryan, where the state may come in? I mean, like they're doing to
that would
two-way?
qualify for the municipal paving program.
Yeah.
So the next road that the state is hoping to pave is going to be Ashby State, Ashby State Road from the roundabout north to the town line.
Which is good for the high school, but Water Street is the entrance into the city, so it really needs to be looked at for that program.
Yeah, I do apologize. I prepared my presentation mostly for Ward 1, so if you guys are interested in a citywide 2025 paving map, please reach out to the engineering division. My name is Ryan. My last name is Killeen, so if you want to reach out to me directly, my email is rkilleen, that's RKILLEEN, @fitchburgma.gov. I'd be happy to send anybody, you or any of your friends and family, the updated 2025 paving map.
Well, thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bridge there, Boulder Drive, I've heard people say, well, can't they reopen Cushing Street again if they're closing it off?
We should have kept it open, yeah.
Yep.
You're not wrong.
Going down the Boulder Drive anyway, maybe not coming up.
Yeah, we could have designed it in such a way that it could have been like a temporary way to get through, but.
Well, thank you for attending tonight's meeting, everyone. And
Thank you all.
the next City Council community meeting will take place on Monday, May 12th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. right here in the Legislative Building. Mayor Squalier and FATV Executive Director Nate Glennie will make presentations and then answer questions. So thank you for coming, and thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you all.